Hey, good morning, guys. Today is the 20th of February 2017. I forgot to, I didn't forget. I was busy yesterday, didn't get a chance to do my weekly trade ideas, so I'm going to just get it done today, right now. First one on the list is Coup, C-O-U-P. Now, what I'm looking here for is a pullback on this chart to $26.80 for a long position. Now, my intention on this chart here is for a swing trade. Obviously, we see that the chart breaking over the pivot range here, so breakout over this flat top gives me a reason to take it on the long side with intention of holding it for a couple days. So $26.80 is where I'm looking for that entry on the pullback tomorrow, and that's where I'll be taking COUP. Number 2 on the list is QLYS. Now what I'm looking for on this chart is a move off of this increased volume, and so we had a nice strong candle off of it. Chart is holding around where the 200 SMA is, came down to that range, and again showing some areas of interest. So what I'm looking for on QLYS is I'd like a pullback down into this range here at about $35.14, where I would take a long position. Obviously the risk would have to be assessed, and I would use that 50 EMA as my risk on the trade if you get into that entry. Number 3 on the list is Abbv. So what I'm saying here is the chart breaking out of a range, and it is increased volume. We do have some seller that came in here, pulled it back from the trend line breakout, and the chart managed to close over the trend. Now that we have a chart that closed over the trend and we have it closed over the 50 EMA, I have to be bullish on this one. So I'd like to play a small dip pullback on this one and then take it for a long. Being that it's over the trend line now, what I want to see is I want to try to catch a bigger move on it. So my intention here would be a day trade starter, a day trade position, and if the chart was to continue to the upside, I would continue to hold a core position on it and add over a close over the 200 SMA for a possible continuation swing trade. Number 4 on the list is AKS. This is a steel play, 813 crossover, charts breaking the downtrend to the upside. We have some buyers stepping in here, moving averages are curled up, and we have a close over the 50 EMA. All good reasons for me to be long on this. Members of ITA are already long on AKS, but still presents an opportunity for a couple trade setups here during the week. So a pullback to retest that 8 EMA would give you a quick snap pullback, and as long as this range holds right about where it closed, actually would be an interesting area for a long. Now if you were trying to play this same setup for a possible bigger move to the upside, then you would have to keep at least a wider stop and make sure that your trend line here, which is the uptrend here, make sure that that range holds in order to keep the chart even longer than where it's at. Number 5 on the list is CVS. So what I'm looking at this chart is it continuously keeps holding the uptrend no matter how much it comes down and tests it. The range on the chart is small for right now, but that's not where the bigger move can come from. The bigger move is obviously triggered from a much bigger trend that it's testing here. 813 crossover on the daily gives me that reason to take the trade on the long side. So I think that this chart can have a setup. Anything over the break of the previous trading session, which puts you at about $80.21, anything breaks over here has to trigger an automatic long, and we could see the chart actually push up into the next couple sessions. Right up into this top here, it puts you closer to $84 as for a target. Number 6 on the list is SPWR. Reason why this chart is on the list is because of the huge volume. You have to obviously try to catch plays off of this range. Now this chart have done this before with a huge spike and a big volume day and failed. Came back here and did a huge spike with a volume day and failed. Now the third time, well, we'll see what happens, but the ultimate play here would be a pullback to retest this 50% area. Puts you at about $7.30 or so for an entry position. and then obviously try to see if it holds. Make sure that stops are in places. The chart has failed to do the breakout on increased volume 2 times before. Not saying that it's going to go here, or not saying that it's going to fail. Just make sure that if you're playing the pullback, have a stop in place, and don't force the chart. Don't force your position if the chart was to fail that retrace level. Number 7 on the list is VREX. Interesting little flag setup on the daily. I do like this one for higher. Now that it's breaking over the pivot range here, I'd like to take it long on a pullback to retest that pivot range. So a pullback to about $31.80 or so would get you into that support range and a possible long. It trades a little bit thin, so make sure that if you're taking this position, it could be something that you intend to hold for a little bit for a continuation to the upside. Number 8 on the list is MNK. MNK has a nice close over its 50 EMA. Nice flag coming up here. Decent increased volume. Wait for the pivot if you want to day trade this one. A break over this pivot area here puts you at about $55.25. A break over that range and a hold over that range gives you an automatic trigger for a buy, a day trade position. Possible push over and pull back to it, and consolidation could give you a continued move towards that $60 range on MNK. Number 9 on the list is MYGN. Nice strong candle push breakout right there. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for some continuation on this move. This is your pivot range here, so a break over $18.81 has to trigger an automatic buy for you. And if the chart was to push through it and hold on to that range, well, that becomes something you can play. What I want to do is I don't want to chase to the upside. I want to wait for the pullback. So ultimately what I'm looking here for is a nice little pullback right into the low 18s or high 17s for an entry on the long side, and then try to play these continued candle strength to the upside. Now if the chart gets up to break this pivot range, it's where I'd be looking to add into the position then for a continued move to the upside. Number 10 on the list is STAG. Chart failed to break over the range here. It's a nice tight wedge, and this is the reason why it's on here. Increased volume, nice tight wedge, and so as the wedge continues to get tighter, we are going to have a move on this one. Chart pushed through over the breakout range and pulled back right into it. And so a failed breakout means that for me, I would look for the chart to consolidate back into the wedge here before making another move or another test to the upside. It's making higher lows, and we are tightening definitely here. So there is going to be a play here. You just have to wait for it to set up. For me, what I'd like to see is another move inside of this range, pick it up somewhere into this high 23s, low 24 range right about here, and then use the trend line as a reason to exit the position. So those are the 10 for this week that I'm looking at, and obviously if you are interested in trading with me at Iceman Trading Academy, definitely hit me up on Twitter or email me at barrymohan81@gmail.com. Have a good, safe trading week.